Okay, I have a question for you other homeschoolers. Have you ever been homeschooling for so long that you forget how the other half lives? Something comes up and it just blows you out of the water and you're like, how do people live like this? Because it doesn't affect you as a homeschooler. So my daughter has been very, very ill, so sick, poor little thing. And she finally got so sick, I was like, okay, that's it. We're heading to the doctor. Our doctor was closed, so I took her to our local urgent care. And she's so sick, you guys, that she can't even sit up for the examination, right? Halfway through, the doctor has to lay the table flat and lay her down because she's so sick. So they run a bunch of tests and they figure out what's going on. And we talk about the plan on how we're going to fix it. And then at the very end, he asks me as he's leaving the room, he's like, oh, do you need a note? And it took me 5 seconds to answer, which doesn't seem like a long time, but when somebody asks you a direct question and then is staring you in the eyeballs, waiting for an answer, my brain just started indexing through all these reasons of why I would need a note. What's a note? What for? A note with the instructions on what we talked about? It was pretty simple and basic. And then I was like, oh, long time ago, you used to get a prescription from the doctor and it was a note. So my brain's just going through this super, super fast. And finally he's like, after the silence, he's like, a note to excuse her from school. I almost laughed. I was like, oh no, we homeschool. We don't need a note, and we move on. But I was thinking about it later. I was like, oh my gosh, so let's imagine that we weren't homeschooled and that my child went to public school. She was sick for a week, so I would have kept her home for a week. And then I would have needed a note from an authority figure, this doctor, so that the school wouldn't penalize my daughter for staying home for a week. When she was so sick, she couldn't even stand up. It boggles my mind that people live like this. As a mother, I wouldn't be trusted, I guess, to decide if my child needed to stay home and to give the school a call and just be like, hey, she's got to be home for a week. She's sick. I would need a doctor's note. I know this is really normal for a lot of people, but for me, being a homeschooler for as long as I have been, this was nuts. Anybody else have an experience like that where you're like, oh, wow, I thought my life was pretty normal and my experiences were what everybody else's experiences were, but this has shown me that it really is different when you're a homeschooler. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that. I thought it was interesting. I'm just so grateful that when my kid is sick, I can just do what I know to do to help her and make the decisions for that and keep her home, and I don't have to answer to anybody. I can just do what's best for her. I love homeschooling, and that's just one of the many reasons why I thought I'd share.